Hey everyone, Holden Hamilton, GFS Home Loans. I'm here with a very special guest today. I have my wife, Amanda Hamilton,
Hello.
formerly known as Amanda Hastings. Just wanted to introduce her to you guys. Amanda and I have been together for a very long time, since 8th grade. And so we have some things that we want to share today with you guys. We feel that we do a very good job at certain things, such as working for family. By the grace of God, we've been very successful in a young age. And we do things that a little bit differently than most. And we want to share a little bit about how we do what we do, why we do what we do, and the things that help us that could potentially help you guys. Remember, this podcast/video is for you guys to understand exactly how to go out and get business, number one. This is a more personal episode talking about things like budgeting and successes and things of that nature, work-life, family balance. But we want this to be an environment that everyone can come in, take a look at the coaching on the platform, and just get little tidbits to take into their business on a daily level. Okay, so Amanda, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, I'm excited that you're here. One thing I like to do in these things is just go ahead and explain a little bit. Number one, what you do, a little bit of your background, and then give us some tidbits on kind of what you're doing on a daily basis to get business.
Yeah. So I got my real estate license August of 22. So I've been doing it for almost 3 years now. I am on the residential side, but our team as a whole also does fulfill the commercial space as well. But we have a small team, very personal, very team oriented, and we're in Bernie. So of course with Keller Williams, but out of the Bernie office. So know a lot of the same faces as you do, and just like tag teaming it together has been really fun. But yeah, it's kind of my story. Like I said, I've been in real estate for 3 years, and
Awesome.
It's been fun to watch you do your side on the mortgage.
Absolutely. So yeah, you've been in the real estate industry 3 years. Those 3 years have been, I think, a trying time, right? The last 3 years in real estate, you got into it kind of right off as COVID was ending, I guess, would be a good way to put it. And so you've seen, a little bit of the highs and a lot of the lows. And as a lot of us have experienced the last 3 years, we've seen, friends get out of the business. We've seen, just volume in general trickle down. And so you've got to see that. So what would be one thing that you would say would be something that's helped you in a trying market? What has helped you a lot as an agent, especially a newer agent in a trying market like right now?
Yeah, well, for me, like mindset is a huge thing. And I think that goes with any business that you're in, real estate, but also not. Like the power of the mind is incredible. And so what you tell yourself, who you surround yourself with is really important. And I think the determination of your successes. And so for me, it was joining a really good team that I felt I had support and, ways to learn and get questions answered. But I've also, filled my head with podcasts and books that would assist in knowing how to do real estate, what to do at the get-go, how to get over the hurdles, because there are slower months, but those wins that you get in real estate, the highs of highs, are hard to beat. And so working to know what you want and your end goals is really important. So for me, surrounding myself with a good team and good people was super important. Gaining more knowledge, taking classes, reading books, listening to podcasts, but also goal setting has been instrumental in my real estate career so far. We as a family do yearly goals.
We'll talk about that a little bit.
But just on the business side, my personal goals, our team, and of course myself, we do monthly goals, we do 10-day goals. So setting up what you want to get out of things and seeing it on paper and filling your mind with those things, I think is really important. Yeah. And has been for me.
Absolutely. All right, I love that. One thing I wanted to go over that I think that we do a very good job of is separating, work and life and just the craziness of real estate, right? We fall short sometimes, but I think a lot of people will benefit in kind of hearing how we handle it. So I tend to take work home with me more so than you do, right? And that's out of just I care and I want to be successful in those things. But I think I've gotten better over the years in trying to separate the two. From your perspective, you do a very good job at that. When you're at home, you're an amazing wife. and you cook, you clean, you do all those things. I'm outside working in the yard, whatever. How do you, in your mind, how do you separate the business from the life when you do walk through that front door and you see me? How do you separate those things?
Yeah, well, I want to compliment you as well, because it is admirable to watch your partner or people you're with achieve successes. And so you definitely do want to celebrate those wins. But coming home, family is family. So, this is a professional space, but ultimately you want to celebrate each other, and put each other first, because if you don't have your family in your group, you what's the point?
Yeah.
Ultimately, we work so hard because of the goals we have for our family and us. So ultimately, all of it stems from a personal level.
Right.
So I'd say that would be my answer, is just knowing why we work so hard outside of the house is because of everything that we have inside our walls.
Well, that leads into a really good point. In something I want to go over is the why we do what we do, right? I think a lot of people have a why. Unfortunately, a lot of people's whys is they have to make money, they have to provide for their family. But I've shared with you, absolutely. But I think that, our why is a little bit different. We don't have children yet. We don't have all of life's craziness outside of just you and I. And so for those that do have children, do have those, distractions, even though they're joys, but they are distractions. I think it does make it a little bit harder for them. And something that you and I have talked about is our biggest why is for those future children, right? And so that's why, I started at such a young age, and that's why you started at such a young age, and we've been able to amass, a very good, sum of, money in a sense, and joy and happiness for those future children, right? And so when those children do come, we don't have to work, 50 times harder as the next guy. So I think leaning into the why of what we do, at least my why is for you, right? And fulfillment, and for our future children. So for you, what would your why be?
Like I said, it's what is in between our four walls. It's our family and who we're surrounded by. Ultimately, we achieve successes and want to build, our empire for that future family. And I think having people, whether it's family or friends that you surround yourself with, like, find what you deeply care about and have that be your why.
Absolutely.
Like, whether it's, chasing, like, your circumstances aren't going to change if you don't choose to do something about it. And so you have to find something you're passionate about and really care about to ultimately want more.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I like that. All right, so kind of switching gears here. Another thing that I feel that we do very well, and I've pressed this onto you in our marriage over the years. Just like you've made me such a better person. I like to think that I've instilled some good things in you as well, right? One of those is budgeting, right? I think that every family out there should have a budget, whether you're a real estate agent or not, or working at a fast food restaurant. You need to have a budget, because if you don't know where the money you're earning is going, you're never going to get ahead, right? And so something that Amanda and I, luckily, by being raised the right way and understanding things, is we've been able to stay out of debt. And we know a lot of younger couples that are unfortunately, they're in a lot of debt, right? Sometimes that is due to income level, unforeseen circumstances, things of that nature. But we love having our monthly budget meeting, or at least I love it. Amanda, maybe not so much. Yeah, she's coming to love it. But I strongly believe everyone should have a budget. Okay, and I want Amanda to share a little bit about what budgeting has done in her life and how it's changed her mindset. She does come from a different cut of cloth when it comes to finances than I, did, and a lot of people do when they, go into a marriage. So what are some things that you and I have gone over from a budgeting perspective that have really helped change your mind when you're looking at buying that next fancy, item of clothing or jewelry? Give me some tidbits on what we've gone over so far on the budgeting side that have helped you.
Yeah, so I guess the first thing that's been a new space for me, shortly after we got married, was investing. That was not something really I was taught nor knew much about. And so meeting with our financial advisor and kind of walking through what that looks like, what is good to get into, having your money basically work for you. We're not perfect, and so we're definitely still learning some of it, but it definitely makes me feel more confident in where our money's going.
Right.
Not just for us now, our retirement years, but also our family. Like, we want to definitely have
our why.
And tying it back to our why, again, just making your monies and your joys that you've worked so hard to do not go to silly spending, which is something that I've definitely overcome in the last few years. So that would be definitely my first switch. But then again, tying it back to, you know, your why, ultimately savings is really important. And so I think it's easy once, you know, that paycheck comes, or you know, you close that big deal, it's easy to go get things that provide temporary joy. But ultimately having a budget set to, no matter what, whenever that check comes, you know, whatever the amount be, 20% going to savings, 20% going to investings, and sticking to that, being really diligent and consistent, I think your future self will really thank you in you know, later on that you did that. Because like I said, the spending sometimes can fulfill a temporary joy, but long term, you definitely want your harder working years to prolong financially.
And even if you're not young, you know, for the audience out there, even if you're not young, I mean, understand that it's never too late. Yes, you've missed some good, crucial years, but it's never too late to get your finances on track. Okay, so even if it's not investing, getting out of debt, getting out of high interest credit card debt is the number one thing that you can do. Okay, again, real estate related or not, there is such things as good debt and bad debt, and we've discussed that. And so having that foundation, not only in your marriage but in your business, is something, you know, to look at. And everyone should have a personal budget and a business budget if you're self-employed, and that will help prolong not only your career but your life, and it will make it more enjoyable.